spend the rest of their life behind bars for doing this nation these type of things with that corrupt Chinese government.
Kaieteur Radio, keeping you informed.
Demerara and Essequibo 99.1 FM.
Burbies 99.5 FM. Kaieteur Radio.
Good day, welcome to your news at noon right here on Kaieteur Radio. I'm Kevin Smith. Let's get to the news in detail. Oil contracts are not set in stone. If there are fiscal arrangements that leave a country holding the short end of the proverbial stick, then renegotiation is not an unreasonable expectation. This is essentially the viewpoint of a report that was facilitated by the United Nations Development Programme. That report was written by Anthony Paul, Principal Consultant of the Association of Caribbean Energy Specialists Limited. In the document that was handed over since 2016, Paul noted that one of the basic rules of contract renegotiation is that the minute one party opens an agreement up for review, all terms are up for discussion. It means, therefore, that Guyana, during its review of the ExxonMobil oil deal in 2016, was in a position to renegotiate to the state's benefit all fiscal terms. Nothing was off limits. For future contracts, it was recommended that Guyana puts in place a strategy for renegotiating contracts. Paul said that this must include engaging an experienced negotiator. And now let's tell you, the Environmental Protection Agency recently disclosed that it is utilizing satellite data from NASA to keep track of flaring offshore by ESSO. According to the World Bank, flaring entails the burning of natural gas associated with oil extraction. The practice, which releases over 200 toxic chemicals into the atmosphere, has persisted from the beginning of oil production over 160 years ago. It takes place due to a range of issues, from market and economic constraints to a lack of appropriate regulation and political will. Given the environmental dangers associated with flaring, Joel Gravesend, who serves as the head of the EPA's Oil and Gas Department, has said that flaring is one of the key issues his agency pays attention to. Hence, it has been unceasing in its effort to build oversight capacity. And now let's tell you, President of the Caribbean Court of Justice, Adrian Saunders, has decried the lack of substantive appointments for the post of Chancellor and Chief Justice of the Judiciary in Guyana, stating emphatically that it is time to appoint permanent holders of the office. The call for immediate appointment of the Chancellor and CJ follows days after President of the Bar Association of Guyana, Pauline Chase, and Attorney General Anil Nadlal spoke of the impact which the non-appointments have had on the state of governance. For the past 17 years, the two top judicial posts were only held by persons acting in those capacities. Chase recalled that the absence of substantive office holders as an embarrassing state of affairs that needed to be corrected swiftly, while the AG noted that the legal formula, which requires the agreement between the president and opposition leader for the nominees to be appointed, has resulted in deadlock. And moving on. Senior Magistrate Leron Daly on Monday granted a lifetime restraining order against a Kitty businessman to ensure that he keeps 1,000 feet away from a woman who he allegedly assaulted. The businessman, Devanand Singh, the owner of Brands to Go stores, was charged on April 1st for the offenses of inflicting grievous bodily harm and threatening language. He denied both of the charges and was placed on $400,000 bail. The next hearing of the matter is set for May 6th. On Monday, the 25-year-old woman was successful in obtaining the restraining order against Singh. It was also ordered that the woman get her personal effects. The woman was the manager of his store. In other news, Guyanese fishermen might be heading for even more challenging times as an agreement between Guyana and Suriname to provide 150 licenses to local fishermen by the start of this year is yet to materialize. The issuance of these Suriname coast licenses would allow Guyanese operators access to that country's offshore fishing grounds as a means of regularizing the operators who have over the years complained about high costs of acquiring fishing licenses through Suriname's middlemen and harassment by fishermen and Coast Guard operating in the Dutch territory. Vice President Bara Jagdeo said that the issue remained unresolved because there are individuals in Suriname who are benefiting from the current licensing system. Guyanese pay as much as $3,000 to $4,000 to use Suriname fishing licenses. The time has now moved on to 12 hours 11 in Guyana. We'll take a short break and return with your news.
This is GHK Lal inviting you to join me weekdays from Monday to Friday on the National Outlook for commentary on a range of issues. Immediately after the 12 noon and 7 p.m. newscasts on Kaieteur Radio at 99.1 FM and 99.5 FM. Looking forward to you sharing in the conversation.
Nothing in life is free, but the MyDigiCell app is. You don't need to be on a data plan to use the app. You can conveniently chat with Ruby or an agent for help. Check your account balance, activate a Prime bundle, or gift it to a friend. Send credit. Check the Georgetown and Burpees Bridge schedules. Activate a roaming plan. Play Shake to Win for cool prizes. So don't worry about a data plan, buddy. Download the MyDigiCell app from the Google Play Store or the Apple App Store today. Digicel, better together.
Welcome back. Let us continue with the news. Makita Quick's plan to visit her grandfather on Sunday ended abruptly after she was killed in a tragic accident around noon that day. The accident, which claimed the life of the 14-year-old Tuckville Secondary School student, occurred around 12 hours 30 on the E-Field Main Access Road, Sophia, Greater Georgetown. It is understood that the teen was heading to her grandfather's residence in D-Field with a younger sister when she met her demise. The two were traveling separately on their bicycles when the accident occurred. Police in a report stated Quick was riding south along the eastern side of the main access road when a motorcycle driven by Glenton Redman crashed into her. The police revealed that the 21-year-old motorcyclist who was speeding in the same direction was in a lying position on his motorcycle when he allegedly lost control and collided with the teen. Meanwhile, 18-year-old Odell Taylor of 1 Mile Wismar Linden is now dead after the motorcycle he was riding crashed into another on Sunday morning. According to police, the accident occurred about 7 hours 45 on the 1 Mile public road. The now dead teen was riding a motorcycle when he crashed into another motorcycle owned and ridden by 22-year-old David Narayan. Reports suggest that Odell was speeding north along the western side of the 1 Mile public road while Narayan was proceeding east out of Pinnat Street, heading to the 1 Mile public road. It is alleged that Narayan failed to stop at the junction and collided with Odell, who was not wearing a helmet at the time. An Alisteli Regional Executive Officer of Cuyuni Mazaruni, Kerwin Ward, faced a series of questions as it relates to the tendering process used in the award of contracts for his region. Ward and his team were, however, unable to respond to the queries made by members of the Parliamentary Public Accounts Committee, before whom they appeared on Monday. The questions surrounded the 2018 award of a contract for the maintenance of doctors' accommodation at the Regional Health Office in Bartica, according to the briefing notes contained in the Auditor General's report. The report outlined that $5.733 million was paid to a contractor for the maintenance works. The report outlined that physical verification of the project revealed overpayments totaling $324,000. The contractor was contacted and he promised to repay the amount overpaid. When asked about the specific transaction, Ward told the PAC that he and his team were ill-equipped to provide the information. Get the full details in today's Kaieteur News. In January 2020, ExxonMobil announced its 16th discovery, Uaru-1, in the Stabroek Block. In April last year, the company announced another oil find, this time its 19th, dubbed Uaru-2. ExxonMobil said that the well is located approximately 6.8 miles south of the Uaru-1 well. The two separate announcements or discoveries are, however, being pursued through one application process as one project under the guise of Uaru Plus, as was announced by ExxonMobil Ghana President Alistair Routledge, as the final investment decision for its fourth project, the Yellowtail Development, which was declared last week. In fact, we were told by Exxon's Public Relations Officer Janelle Prasad that the Uaru Plus project is also seeking to develop other discoveries in the Stabroek Block that are within close proximity to the Uaru discoveries. You're listening to Kaieteur Radio 99.1 and of course 99.5 FM. At this point, we now wrap things up with the page 7 of today's Kaieteur News. Why can't we just get along? In a country that's clearly on a robust developmental path, once our wealth is handled with care, it seems quite a tall task for our leaders to get along. For instance, for years, respective presidents and opposition leaders of this country have been incapable of agreeing on nominees to appoint a substantive chancellor and chief justice. But as proclaimed by the CCJ president, Justice Adrian Saunders, the time has come for these appointments to be made. Come on, leaders. It is about time that these intelligent and hard-working women at the helm of our judicial system are appointed so that they can serve this country with pride. And that brings us to the end of today's News at Noon. I'm Kevin Smith. Thank you for listening.
Want value for your advertising dollar? Then place your ads on Kaieteur Radio's newscasts. Streamed live on 6 different mediums, reaching hundreds